Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel and another video about how to become a pharmacist in Canada. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through a few important steps that you might not know about yet if you're just starting out, if you're just starting to apply for to become a pharmacist in Canada, or maybe you're applying for immigration and you want to start your licensing process. So there are a few steps that are specific for international grads and international pharmacy grads that you have to go through. So I'm going to show it to you in this video. One of them is the Pharmacist Gateway Canada, which is fairly new. And I'm also going to show you and give you a little bit of a tip about how much it's going to cost you to become a pharmacist in Canada. Now, I've spoken about that before in other videos. I made a video about the International Pharmacy Grad Program, which is different. I'm going to talk about it again today to bring up the cost one more time. And I'm going to give you a breakdown of all the other costs that you may encounter or experience when you're starting your process as a pharmacist. So for those of you who are new on the channel, this channel is all about clinical pharmacy practice, but I also teach you how to become a pharmacist in Canada, how to pass the OSCE exam, which is one of the main exams to become a pharmacist, a licensed pharmacist in Canada. And I also have a chapter about immigration, and I guide you through the process. If you're new on the channel, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so that you get notified of my future videos. Now, as you can see on my screen here, I'm on the PEBC.ca website. This is the Pharmacy Examining Board of Canada website, which you probably are familiar with. On the left side here, I'm going to choose Pharmacists, and it immediately tells you here, start here. Please select the appropriate link to learn more about your pathway to PEBC certification. And they have options. We're going to go with international grads. Now, US grads have a different pathway. If you are a US grad, you're also international, but you're from the US, so you have a different pathway. Do not go through the international grad pathway, but this is basically anything except the US and Canada. I'm going to click on that, and it immediately tells you that step 1 is document evaluation, but that's not true. Like, this website is poorly made, unfortunately. So it says document evaluation is the first step, and then second step is the pharmacist evaluating exam, and then the pharmacist qualifying exam. But if we click on the document evaluation, scroll down here, it says how to become certified by PEBC, and then it tells you visit the international grad page for more information, and then document evaluation eligibility. If you click on that, it translates what this means, then language proficiency, and then right here it says Pharmacists Gateway Canada. So click on that, and it says all international pharmacy grads who wish to obtain a license to practice pharmacy in Canada are required to enroll in the NAPRA Gateway before applying for document evaluation with PEBC. So this is basically something that has to happen before document evaluation. Why in heaven is it number 3 down here? So anyways, I'm not going to judge. I'm going to click on the Pharmacist Gateway Canada. I'm just not very happy with how the website is made in a way that confuses everyone. And now you're on the Pharmacist Gateway Canada. You would think this is a much easier to navigate website, but no, it is not. Anyways, you have to enroll in this Gateway Canada before applying to or for document evaluation on PEBC. And over here, what I wanted to show you, they have a lot of information, like a lot of readings, articles to read, just articles to read. But what I wanted to show you is where it says how to apply, and it mentions all the provinces of Canada here. So if you're planning to come to one of these provinces, you might as well look it up and see what's how to apply to practice pharmacy in any of these provinces. Most people go to Ontario, that's where Toronto is, and then Toronto is mainly international grads. Like I want to say 90% of the pharmacists in Toronto are international grads. A few people go to British Columbia because it's warmer, the weather is better. Alberta is known to have better pay and less taxes. The least taxes in all of these is probably Alberta, and so on. So if you are planning to go to a specific province, just click on that province. You have to know where you're going, because even if you're applying for immigration, they'll ask you which province are you going to. So you have to have a province in mind. So my advice to you is to research all of these and see which one you'd like to live in. Look at the cost of living, and it is different from one province to another. Look at the salaries, look at the jobs. Are there enough jobs? Because I can tell you now that Ontario, where most people go, they get paid the least. The jobs are there are available jobs, but the pay is really low because there is so much competition. There's so many people coming from all over the world, and they all want to live in Ontario. So yeah, look at all these things before you decide where you want to live, especially the cost of living, and then choose based on that. I'm going to go with Ontario because it's the most popular. And right here, it tells you how much it would cost you to become a pharmacist, which is good. This is a good thing I like about this website. So Pharmacist Gateway, this website we're on, it will cost you $375 to register with them. So it's not free. And this is basically, like I said before, fairly new. And that's something that I hate about PEBC, because they created this website which has absolutely no importance, only to make an extra $375 out of each person applying. Horrible. I'm saying it out loud, and I say it here in Canada out loud. I hate it, and I'm sure that maybe one day somebody will listen and will cancel this, because it is unfair. You're coming from another country to become licensed in Canada, in a country that needs pharmacists. We are in a huge demand. There's a huge demand of pharmacists here in Canada, and they make you pay all this money that I'm going to show you now. The second thing is document evaluation. It says it costs about $695, and it will take 2 months at least for document evaluation to complete. The third thing is the evaluating exam. That costs about $890, and there's an asterisk here. I'm going to see it takes about 4 months to get that done. What's the fee is per attempt. Up to 4 attempts are permitted, so you can do it 4 times. If you fail the first time, you can repeat it another time. You have up to 4 times to 4 attempts to repeat it. After 4 attempts, I'm not sure what happens, but yeah, you probably restart the whole process from the beginning. They make you pay all the money again. So, anyways, that's how much it costs and how long it takes to get it completed. Then comes the qualifying exam, and look how much the qualifying exam costs. For MCQ, there are 2 exams, right? Part 1 and Part 2. The MCQ, which is Part 1, costs $835, and the OSCE, which is the most difficult exam, they made it the most expensive exam. It costs $1,875 per trial, per attempt. Seriously, people, that is a lot of money. And they know that almost 80% of the international grads will fail this exam on their first attempt. They know that, and yet they still made it that expensive. Anyways, again, I'm not here to judge. Language proficiency will cost you about, I would say, $100 maybe, or maybe $80. I can't remember. Bridging program, which I talked to you about in a previous video, the International Pharmacy Grad Program, will cost you about $14,180, and that's only for Ontario. So the cost of this could be different from one province to another, and I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, it costs you about that much, and it takes about 5 months to complete. Finally, you apply for the Ontario College of Pharmacists to gain a license after you complete everything above. There is a practice assessment of competence at entry, PACE. That's something that you have to do. And then you have to take the jurisprudence exam. That's the pharmacy law exam, and it costs about $140. I'm not sure why they didn't make this $600 or $1,000 too. It seems really cheap compared to everything else above. And then finally, in order to get licensed and get your registration, you pay $947 or $948, and this is repetitive. So this is every year. You're going to pay that much money to maintain your license. So basically, to become a pharmacist in Ontario, it tells you that you are going to be required to pay almost $20,000 to become a pharmacist, a licensed pharmacist in Ontario, Canada. And it takes about 15.5 months to complete everything. That, given that you haven't failed any of the steps above, and there was no delays in any of the steps, which is not the case, because even if you pass everything, there is always delays because some people are just like that. They want to take longer, and most people will fail one of these steps at the first attempt, no matter how good they prepared. Maybe they didn't take a course, like in the case of OSCEs. Many pharmacists just decide that they're not going to take a course. They will learn online, for example, like on my channel or other channels, and they'll just go and give it a try. Like I showed you here, it is not cheap, so don't cheap up. Get a course that would teach you how to do the OSCEs professionally, and enroll, pay a little bit more for the course in order to get this done from the first attempt. Now, just to compare, let's take a look at Alberta here. Same. These are same because they're all these numbers are made by the PEBC. So it doesn't matter which province you're getting a license at. But look at the bridging program here is a little cheaper, $13,600, but it takes longer. It takes 10 months to complete. Ontario was only 5 months. This one takes 10 months, and it's cheaper. The application here is $630. Here in Alberta, there is a structured practical training in addition to the bridging program. So you have to do 6 months of training in addition to the bridging program. Come on, Alberta. Just give them, cut them some slack here. One or the other. You don't need both. But anyways, that's what they are doing. And for licensure and registration, you pay $944 annually. So at the end, it will cost around the same amount of money. Now, there is one thing that is not mentioned here, which is the cost of living. You basically are going to spend 26.5 months doing all of the above. You gotta live somewhere, right? You'll be living somewhere. You will be eating, drinking, right? So the cost of all of these is additional. So if you think that $19,844 is everything, no, you're wrong. You need at least maybe additional. Well, this is really long. It says 26.5 month. That's month, right? Let's go up there. Oh yeah, it is month. That's more than 2 years to complete the process. So this is really longer. So I'm gonna skip Alberta for now. Let's take a look at British Columbia or somewhere else. But yeah, over here, this is BC, British Columbia, 16.5 month. Okay, same amount almost. So a year and an additional 4.5 month. They don't have, oh, they do have a structured practical training too. Weird, but 6 months of bridging program. Anyways, yeah, pick something that has a maybe shorter duration because you want to get that done with, right? But again, you want to pick a place that you can live in. Bear in mind that wherever you get licensed, you don't really have to work there. You can transfer your license to another province, and I've done that before. I got licensed in Ontario. I transferred my license to Alberta, and then I worked there for a little bit, and then I transferred my license to BC, British Columbia, and that's where I live right now. So you can always transfer your license at any point as long as your license is active. So if you have an active license in anywhere in Canada, you can transfer it to another province. You just have to do the jurisprudence exam, this one here, the pharmacy law exam. You have to do that in the new province you're moving to. That's all you have to do. And of course, apply for a license. So yeah, 16.5 months, additional maybe $5,000 or $6,000 for cost of living. I want to say, so in order to rent a place, sorry for my calculator here. In order to rent a place, it will cost about, at this time, it costs about $1,250 times, say 12 months. That's $15,000 a year just for a place to live, and it's probably gonna be a 1-bedroom. And then additional maybe $500 a month for groceries, although right now with the inflation, we're in 2023, so with the inflation, it might cost more than $500 a month to feed yourself. Let's say you're not gonna go have fun at all in 16.5 months. You'll be busy studying. So let's say $700 a month. I mean, you can do it for less than that. $700 a month times 16.5. I'll go with that. It will cost you about $11,550, and we say $1250 a month for rent times 16.5. That's $20,625. Plus the $1150 for food and drink and clothing and everything. That's an additional $32,175. Plus the cost of the exams, $19,522. Of course, this does not include taxes. They're going to add taxes to that. And so will everything else have taxes added on. So add maybe 12% taxes. Now, these are all rough calculations. So you need basically $57,900 for 16.5 months to do everything. To live, eat and drink, and take your exams, and transportation and everything. $58,000. Now, are you ready for that? Most of you are not, because you're still new, maybe new grads, you're still fresh grads, you haven't been working for a decade and been saving a lot of money. So here's the thing. Here's what most students do. If you have a good job where you live right now, keep your job and keep living wherever you're living, wherever country you're living. If you're in India, Pakistan, wherever, UAE, Qatar, anywhere, stay in that country. Don't move to Canada. even if you get accepted in the immigration program and you got your landing paper, come over to Canada, do the landing, and move back to your country, wherever you live. All right? Keep your income, because it will help you. It will help you. It will save you all that money, because you already pay that money where you live right now. I mean, you pay less than that, probably. So just come to Canada to take an exam, maybe. Let's say you'll come to take the evaluating exam. So whenever it's time for the evaluating exam, you applied, you got enrolled, you come to Canada for a couple of weeks, take the exam, and then go back home, and then study for your next exam, the qualifying exam, and then come to Canada, take the exam, and then go back home, and so on. This has proven to be the most affordable way for most of the students I've met, international students. And then you're working back home, so you can make money to pay for one thing at a time, for whatever it's an exam or a bridging program or whatever. And then when it's time for the bridging program, I think we in my previous video I showed you that this can be done online, so you don't have to come to Canada. So that's one problem solved. You basically have to move to Canada. Even the licensure and registration, you don't have to move to Canada. You can get all that done. You only have to move to Canada basically for the structured practical training, and this is 500 hours of training in a pharmacy. So I'm sorry, here it's not in a pharmacy. It says it's a 24-week program that has 12 weeks classroom instructional classes, and then 12.5 weeks of practicum. These practicums are probably going to be in pharmacies. So for that one, you need to get a 24-week vacation and then come to Canada to do it, to get it done with. It's different for the US grads here, it says. And that's it. For the finally the jurisprudence exam. After all of that, you have to come to Canada again to take the jurisprudence exam. It's just a one-day test. It's not that big a deal. My point is, do not move to Canada if you can't afford living in Canada to do all of these. And bear in mind, it might be longer than 16.5 month. In case you, God forbid, fail any of the exams or get delayed for some reason, it might take longer than 16.5 months. If you're ready, if you have enough money and you're ready to move to Canada and you already got your immigration in place, fine, go ahead and move here. The other thing you can do is move to Canada and find a job. It's not going to be a pharmacist job, of course. Find a job that will earn you some money on a monthly basis, so they can pay for all of these expenses, and also can get a place to live and pay for that and pay for groceries and everything. A lot of students have done that too. They end up working with Starbucks or any of the big grocery store retail centers like Canadian Superstore or Safeway or any of these places, and you earn a little bit of money. Like, they pay really low, but it is something. So yeah, you'll have an income, and you can pay for your rent, for groceries, and also save a little bit for the exams. That will save you money. But if you have savings back home and you bring all your savings here to spend it on all of these, I would not recommend that. That would not be very smart of you, because you need those savings. You worked and you had you made money and you saved that money over the years. It's it's not recommended to spend all your savings just because you want to take some exams and you become licensed and you want to become licensed in Canada. Keep the savings. You're going to need it in the future when you're buying a house after you move to Canada. You're going to need them for other reasons. So yeah, don't spend your savings on this. To be honest, yeah, it's so unfair, like I said before, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show you today in this video. So make sure to enroll in the Pharmacist Gateway Canada. It will definitely ask you which province are you planning to become a pharmacist in before you apply for document evaluation. And if you go back here to this page, document evaluation, then just follow these. One of the steps for document evaluation that you have to do educational credential assessment, and this is important for immigration as well. Immigration Canada will ask you for the report that that says that your degrees are accredited in Canada. So some pharmacists I know that came from other countries like Lebanon and other countries applied for that, and they received a report that said that their degrees were not accredited in Canada because it's not enough years of pharmacy education or for some other reasons. Yeah, unfortunately. So they were declined to apply for the exam and also declined to apply for immigration. So just make sure you apply for education credential assessment, and if you just click on this link here, it will take you to the page and follow the instructions on where to apply for the ECA report. There are specific organizations that take care of the educational credential assessment. You cannot just do it anywhere. It has to be done through accredited organizations that are recommended by the PEBC. So just follow their instructions here, and you should be good. That's all I wanted to show you for today's video. For those applying for a pharmacist license in Canada, I hope that this would benefit a few of you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I'm preparing more videos about getting a license in Canada that will come out soon. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Have a great day.